Do you want me to mute in the meantime?
No, it's fine, mate. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Creakycast with me, the Creaky Blinder. How many people have we got? 18 people? Where's everyone else? I refuse to start until we've got more people. Tidy. Well, it's not as tidy as I would have liked, actually. Oh, there's 21 people now. I feel so relieved. Good evening, casual spaceman. This
Good
man
evening.
just to the side of me. I can never work out which side he is because everything's reversed and mirrored. But he's the person who's on the screen that isn't me. How are you, mate?
I'm doing well, Creaky. How are you?
Overjoyed as always. Absolutely overjoyed as always. So, like I say, I'm sure you've seen these before. It's nothing overly taxing, definitely nothing technical. You've watched my videos, so it's literally just a nice informal chat between two fellow creators. Now,
Right,
according to my extensive research, your channel has existed since July 2012, but you didn't actually start uploading content until 9 months ago, I believe it was. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it'd be about right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Any reason for that, or just?
It never really occurred to me, to be honest with you, until recently. I mean, there's a story behind that if you want me to go into it, but yeah, never really occurred to me for a good many years. To be honest. I saw people doing YouTube videos. I thought, no, I couldn't do that. No way, I couldn't do that.
but then something happened that inspired you to do it, obviously.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what it was. It was it's funny because I obviously I used to watch a lot of videos and things like that. But what happened was I saw I think it was the Flat Earth Society on Facebook. And I was looking through it and stuff, and I saw a few YouTube videos. So I went onto YouTube and I thought, right, let me do a bit of research on this and find out. I wonder who's doing the opposite side of it, kind of trying to debunk it and all the rest of it. So I did a search, and the first thing that came up was Fight the Flat Earth.
Yeah.
So I saw some of his debates and things like that, and I think then it was Simon Dan, and then I think it might have been Team Skeptic, I think, and then I saw yours. I watched a bit of yours as well, a little bit different. And then
disappointing, I think the word you're looking for is.
No, not at all. You did this like the funny side of it. I remember when I first met you, I just thought you were hilarious, and I told you that. No, but
yeah, I remember actually.
And I thought, well, all the debates and stuff like that. I thought, no, I couldn't really do that. I couldn't really do that kind of stuff. I don't really understand a lot of that stuff. So I thought. Well, and then I saw a debate. I think it was Fight the Flat Earth did a debate, I think, on the moon landing. So I thought, I know a little bit about this stuff. Yeah. And I thought, why can't I do something like that? So then, I started making my first stabs.
Yeah, it's because I was going to say, it's pretty clear where your passion lies and which bits of it really sort of get your goat.
Yeah. I'm still trying to find my niche a little bit, but I'm getting there. I think I'm getting there.
Just listening to you on the Simon Dan video that you were in this week, it's clear that space deniers infuriate you.
They can do, yeah. It really just depends on the person and how they're actually. You know what? The ones that annoy me the most are the ones that get everything wrong but sound really confident about it.
Yeah.
I don't know about how you feel or everybody else in the chat feels the same thing. The more confident they sound about the crap, the more annoying I get.
Yeah. No, I said something along those lines when I was talking to Rod on Sunday. Now, I quite openly say that I'm not a science guy. I've got a very sort of basic understanding of it. Enough to understand that the Earth isn't flat.
Yeah.
But that's why I never really put anything overly science-y in my videos, because I would feel false doing it.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah.
I think you have to have a substantial understanding of it to be able to confidently present it, and that's one of the things that bothers me with these flat earthers. Like, for example, Anthony Riley, he sounds so... Because I don't know if everyone else sort of agrees with me, but whenever I listen to him, he's a very eloquent guy, he can certainly talk the talk, but his problem is that he may sound eloquent, but 99.9% of what he says is completely wrong.
Oh yeah. I think that's they're the people that are actually annoying me the most. Exactly.
Yeah, and but
totally
like I say, that's the exact reason why I went down the point and laugh route rather than, because we can all, well, I say we can all read. I'd like to assume that all my viewers can read. But we can certainly look up the information, but I think unless you understand what you've looked up, it comes across as disingenuous and forced. So that's why I've chosen to sort of do it in the way I do it rather than the way Dan does it, for example, because, he's one of the sort of highest authorities within our space, isn't he, when it comes to an understanding of physics. Him, Conspiracy Cats, Fight the Flat Earth, they've all got a very good understanding of it. So for them, it's perfect, but definitely not for me. So how did you come up with the channel name then? Is it purely just based on your love of
I came
all
up with
things
various
space?
Different names actually, and I suppose it's kind of loosely based on the Everyday Astronaut, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I used to watch quite a lot of his stuff, not so much now. But yeah, it was kind of loosely based on that, and I thought, well, I can't call myself the Everyday Astronaut, and I thought, well, can I call myself the Weekly Astronaut or something like that? I can't even remember some of the names really, and then it would just sort of, and I thought, well, instead of using astronaut, why not just say Spaceman? Yeah, because that might even appeal to kids and things like that as well. So, and I think, I don't know, but my daughter, I think, I came up with one idea, and I think it was something like the Occasional Astronaut, I think it was at first. And then my daughter said, no, that's stupid. Don't be stupid. So she says, what about Casual Astronaut? There you go. That's it. So there it came about. So I've got to thank my daughter for that. Actually, she was the one that kind of put me right.
Right. So it was your daughter that actually should be taking credit for naming your channel, then rather than you claiming it.
But it's it's mostly my work,
yeah. So she'll just have to wait until she's old enough to make her own channel to get the recognition she deserves.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So if you could sort of just suddenly start making videos about something else, is there anything else that interests you enough that would make you want to create content based around that thing?
Do you know what? Probably one of the things I've often thought about was, and I thought about this before, was the the guys that do the when you get the hoax calls about Microsoft. Yeah, and stuff like that, or the tax man, you're going to come and be arrested and all that kind of stuff. I know there's quite a few people doing that. I've often wondered what it'd be like to try and do that, because I've had some phone calls like that, and I've kind of strung them along a little bit and wasted their time for like 45 minutes. As well. just winding them up and playing dumb and being stupid and asking them stupid questions and things like that. And I keep thinking to myself, one of these days I'm going to have to put that on camera or record it at least or something. So but it always makes me wonder, these guys, I think they actually call them, I think, quite a lot of the time, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I always wonder, they ring them back to get revenge, don't they?
Yeah, but I always wonder how much would it cost to call those people and things like that. So it's kind of like, I don't know. So I don't know. I need to look into it a little bit more. You never know. I might give it a stab.
That would definitely be fun, because I've seen a lot of people doing it, and it's always hysterical. But I have got a slightly twisted sense of humor, so maybe it's just me. But it's like the ultimate revenge, isn't it? Because I know my oldest son, when you get these calls, have you been in a car accident? What my son does, he instantly and deliberately goes into paranoid mode. How do you know I've had a car accident? Are you spying on me? Have you put cameras in my car? And he does it every time they ring him. But sadly now they've got this automated system that does it, haven't they? So it's not as much fun when you're trying to wind up a robot.
With those automated system. I mean, a friend of mine actually had that as well. And as soon as he heard the message, waiting for a response, he just went knickers. And then he put them through to somebody. That was it. So you can say whatever you like, you still get put through.
Yeah, exactly. They're just waiting for you to make a noise, aren't they? So they can connect you to a human being who can then proceed to try and extort money out of you.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. Yeah.
But, no, that would definitely be good fun, and that would be the sort of thing I would watch anyway.
My 12-year-old daughter got that phone call as well. Well, I'm 12. I don't drive.
That's what I actually say to them. I'm 14 when they ring me. I can't drive a car. You don't sound 14.
Yeah,
How rude.
It's as well they can't see you, Creaky.
Yeah, exactly. Because then they'd know that I'm at least 16, wouldn't they? Yeah, in my dreams. So what is it about doing this that you particularly enjoy then? Is it sort of the sense of community, or just you enjoy the process of making a video? Or?
Do you know what? Actually, well, yeah, there is a sense of community. I do like the community, I must admit. I mean, we do help each other out. I like that. But I like, more than anything else, I like the research, actually.
Yeah.
I like, and of course, you're learning stuff as you go along as well. I learned a whole load of stuff, things that I didn't know about. And of course, watching the debunk community the debunkers and stuff like that, you learn an awful lot. People like Simon Dan and Blue Marble Science and, conspiracy cats, they're smart cookies, so we learn a lot about those. So yeah, it's the learning part of it as well.
Yeah.
I'm not a massive, do you know what? I'm not a massive fan of editing, really.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I've got Filmora 9 and I've learned how to use it, and I've known how to use it fairly well.
Yeah.
But I'm really impatient.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go well, I get really annoyed.
Yeah. See, I think that's why I edit as I go, because again, patience isn't my strong suit, and I just find that if I record, because I record everything straight through OBS so that it appears in sort of my camera roll on the PC, and I can just dump it straight into Filmora. And I edit as I go, because it takes me so long to record and edit the videos. I think the thought of doing all the recording, cutting it up, and then having to go back after the event and edit it, I can't think of it would almost feel like a punishment. So it's it's just the way I do it. But because you do a lot of live streaming, don't you? You sort of live stream space events and
that's right. Yeah,
and the like. So is that sort of coming from your hatred of editing, or is that just your preferred presentation?
I did want to cover live stream launches pretty much from the word go. Once I heard about OBS, and I thought, actually, I fiddled around with it, and I thought, actually, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
I've had a few cock ups and stuff like that, but no. Well, I suppose it is a little bit. I don't make as many videos as I probably should do.
Yeah.
So I suppose if I'm honest with myself, probably right, actually.
Yeah, because
you got me thinking.
Going live is, once you get used to it and you're comfortable with it, it is definitely the easiest way to get content out. It is. I really enjoy. I wanted to do 3 videos a week, but then I thought, well, technically a live stream is a video, so if I can just continue to produce my 2 videos a week and then do a live stream a week, I've got my 3 videos then, haven't I? And people seem to enjoy, the interaction that's involved in a live stream, don't they? So I think it's a bit more personable then, because you can actually communicate back and forth with people via the side chat. Not so much in this format, because obviously I'm extremely easily distracted, as everyone will have noticed. So I find that looking at the side chat is not really paramount when I'm chatting to somebody. Plus, it could come across as rude.
Yeah, I haven't actually. I think I've done 1 or 2 hangouts. I think they haven't gone all that well. There's only one that technically went okay, but it was a bit. I really didn't know what I was doing, because I wanted to play a couple of videos and things like that, and I couldn't get the audio to work, and it was all a bit of a disaster. Yeah, so I want to start doing that again, but I'm kind of afraid of it going wrong a little bit.
I know the feeling, mate, because as everyone knows, I am the master of ballsing things up while I'm live. So
no, you're not.
I've just got to the point now where it's kind of like, well.
You got it down pat, Creaky.
That's just what everyone expects from me now. So if I make a mistake, oh yeah, I did that on purpose, guys. Just to make you all feel at home.
Now we know.
Yeah, exactly. They're all deliberate mistakes. I'm a professional. I don't actually make mistakes. I just do them for the comedy value. So
yeah, you can get away with it. I couldn't get away with it.
Well, that's debatable. So what? Obviously, we both make very similar styles of content. So what is it about flat earthers and other conspiracy theorists that you think makes them a problem for other people?
Oh, blimey, where to start? think for me, kind of like when I first saw that Facebook page, I mean, I think I heard of Flat Earthers a long time ago, and I kind of dismissed it. It was kind of like, oh, it's probably one of these groups that, they're very small and won't have anything to do with it. And when I saw that Facebook group and I saw how many people were on it, how many people were talking, I couldn't believe how many people are into it. But then I came, like I was talking about when I got into YouTube, and you started seeing the amount of people that were kind of really believed it. I thought it was incredible. And I suppose the first thing that sprang to mind, what with having kids, and I'm sure you probably feel a little bit the same, is that, if this is growing so much, what happens if it starts creeping into mainstream education? I think it's a long way from that at the moment. But
hell yeah.
It's creeping in the States, though, a little bit.
Right. But can you imagine that, though?
Oh, God.
It just doesn't bear thinking about, does it?
That would upset me, that would upset, particularly with, because since I was about 6 or 7 years of age, I've always been interested in, the Apollo program and space and all the rest of it, off and on for many, many years. And it really completely goes against the grain of what I've always read. So I suppose in some degree that kind of upsets me a little bit. And then I kind of think of my kids and their education and what happens if they started believing flat Earth and all the rest of it. And it's kind of like, oh, doesn't be worth thinking about, It's like, oh, no. I suppose that's kind of that element of it a little bit.
The thing with me, flat earthers, for example, I just find them funny because it's just completely ridiculous. But then when you get the people that sort of not so much deny that the moon landing happened, because if they want to say that, whatever, say, but when they talk about like the Apollo disaster and saying that there weren't actually any astronauts that were killed, that really
that does
winds me up, because that's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
All those people have got families that they left behind, and how did they think it would make the families of those people feel if they heard somebody saying something like that on a public platform like YouTube?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's just disgusting.
But what gets me as well, I mean, we obviously had Columbia, had Challenger, and of course Apollo 1 on the launch pad. But the thing is as well that you had Russian astronauts that died as well.
Yeah.
So if they're going to talk about Challenger and all the rest of it, and Apollo 1 as being fake and all the rest of it, and saying, oh yeah, they're still alive, nobody seems to mention about the Russian astronauts that died. Surely they've got to do the same thing, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And
exactly.
I agree with it. That gets my goat a little bit. It really does get my goat.
That's the one thing that stands out about the whole thing to me, is how disrespectful it is to the families of those people. Mm-hmm. It's the same as 9/11 deniers and everyone else. I know there's a lot of things that go on behind closed doors that we aren't aware of and probably will never be made aware of.
Yeah.
But regardless of any of that, it's just disrespectful to the people that died.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's not the best. So, do you get many negative comments on your channel, mate?
Yeah, get a few.
Yeah,
I'm glad not too many trolls. Actually, it's funny. Actually, I want some more flat Earth trolls and space denier trolls. Actually, because then I can actually start making some content of it. But I get so few that it doesn't really worth. Or aren't doing it. And I'd love to get a few more like Simon Dan, and he can actually make at least a monthly video about his comments and things like that. But I don't.
He gets a lot though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
I haven't made a mean comments video for a long time because I just don't get any that aren't completely childish. No. I can't make a whole video about somebody calling me bald and old. Do you know what I mean? So are there any comments you've had then negative that have particularly stood out to you and really sort of been low? Or
you get some that just go there and just call you a whole bunch of names and things like that. I just usually delete those because
same as
what's the point in even talking about them? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're just there just to try and get some sort of reaction out of you, and I don't really react to people like that, generally speaking. I do try and goad one or two people that not necessarily being aggressive in the name calling or anything like that, but generally if they just come in there and just call you a whole bunch of names, stuff like that, I just delete them.
And I've had people saying, "Oh, I'll meet up with you to discuss it," and it's like, mate, grow up.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I've got a rule, and I think it was actually Dan that explained this rule to me. Look at the comment. if it's offensive or something you don't like, you just delete, ignore, and move on. And I've stuck to it, 100%. Anything that I think is a bit below the belt, I just delete it and block them because, I know it's part and parcel of it. It comes with the territory, doesn't it? But they don't bother me. I mean, I was involved in politics before I did this for a good many years. And of course, when social media come along and stuff like that, and I've had all kinds of things. I've had death threats from people. Yeah, I was involved in politics and all the rest of it. They're all crap because I think I remember you and I having a conversation about this before. I think you've told me this before. In fact, you definitely have. I remember it. That's right. Yeah. So I've kind of grown a thick skin from that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it doesn't really bother me if they're just there just to call you a whole bunch of names and make threats. And all that. Exactly. Delete block because you can. And once they're deleted and blocked, gone. It's like but the funny thing is they can continue to comment. And they can continue to watch your videos, but you'll never see their comments. No, that's right. Exactly. So what I don't see doesn't hurt me. It's like whatever. Yeah, they think they're getting one over on you, but little do they know that they are completely wasting their time because you never see it. Good evening, Julian HG. It's very good to see you as well. I haven't seen you in one of my live streams for a while. I hope you're well, sir. And thank you to Danny Indoor Man. Why have you got DGC at the end of your name? I never understand initials. But anyway, thank you for joining the channel, mate. I appreciate it. So a lot of people seem to be of the opinion that we are doing more harm than good and that we are actually sort of shining a spotlight on the flat earth movement. Do you agree with that statement, or do you think... what are your thoughts on that? That's a hard one to answer, to be honest with you. I suppose there's some justification why people would think that. Yeah. But then again, you could turn the question around and say, well, what happens if it was all left unchecked? What would happen then? You know what I mean? So there's it would be hard to predict what would happen either way, really, to be honest with you. It is, isn't it? Because a lot of them seem to be defecting over to BitChute now as well, don't they? Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And I've noticed as well, a lot of them as well, they're going out in the streets and what they call it, flat smacking. And things like that, and I don't know. It's a hard one to answer for certain, but I would probably kneel on the side that I think it needs to be rebuked. I think, and proven to people, because let's face it. I mean, if you watch all the debaters, things like that, when they go on a debate, the whole idea of debate is not really to persuade the other person, because you're not going to do that. No. But what happens is if somebody's listening that doesn't necessarily understand the science and all the rest of it as well, here's somebody talking about it with confidence and can actually show what they're doing is correct, then that might sway them that way. That's really who they're mostly aimed with that, really. So, in that regard, I think that's kind of a good thing as well. But I can understand why people would think perhaps we are highlighting it a little bit. There is a little bit of that, I think. No, I agree with you. But as you say, and I think all the other guys that have asked this exact same question to have said the same thing, that whether we were making videos about them or not, they would still be there. So would they just be going unchecked then, as you've just said? Yeah, exactly. They'd have free reign then, wouldn't they? If there was no, if somebody watches a flat earth video, there's a strong possibility that one of my videos, one of Dan's videos, one of your videos may come up in the recommended. So at least then they can get the other perspective on it. And, they've just watched a video telling them why the earth is flat when it isn't. But then they've got the option to click on a video that explains why that can't possibly be right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. Totally. Yeah, that's what I think anyway. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that's sort of how I feel about it anyway. And it seems that that's becoming a common theme, because everyone I've asked seems to be saying the same sort of thing. So yeah, exactly. It is an interesting one. I mean, social media plays a massive part in what they actually do as well. I mean, absolutely. In my during my time in politics, I saw big pressure groups, coming up through social media. I mean, the English Defence League, for one,
That was created by social media. It started off as a small local group, and it grew because of social media. So they're using that to full effect, and that's why you've seen a growth in recent years of the flat Earth. And as for this stuff about flat Earth dying, I'm not really sure that it is, to be honest with you. No. I don't think it is. I think you were seeing less the flat earthers, I think, on YouTube. New ones coming through. You don't see too many of them because they're like you said, they're going to other platforms now.
Yeah. They're going where they know they can get away with it, aren't they?
Exactly.
Because if YouTube actually released a statement, didn't they? And it said that they were gonna. It didn't say that they were gonna censor, which is what flat earthers claim. What it actually said is they were no longer gonna push or promote videos that talked about flat earth or other conspiracy theories. And I think, at the end of the day, YouTube is a business. It's a company. They want to make money. And if having that type of content on their platform is going to put potential advertisers off wanting to advertise, then YouTube's not going to make any money. And
exactly.
It's common sense.
Yeah, cool, because they're protecting their business, and of course they're going to do that.
Exactly. So are there any conspiracy theories that you've ever come across and thought, I need to check that before I just completely write it off? Or have you always just sort of looked at it and thought, no, that can't possibly be true?
I think the only conspiracy that I kind of thought that it could be possible, if that's what you're asking me, is possibly JFK. But I'm only kind of loosely thinking myself. Well, I've read some stuff about it, and it does raise an awful lot of questions. Yeah. But the trouble is that those questions can't always be easily answered.
No.
You know what I mean? So I suppose I'm not saying that JFK was a conspiracy for certain. I can't prove it. There's not a chance I could prove it. But if I could possibly say that might be a possibility, maybe, but only slightly. Really, I wouldn't. I was no way I'll debate anybody about it because they're probably right. So very, very loosely, I thought that might be possible. But in terms of like the most bizarre conspiracy, until actually it was one of your videos that highlighted me to first pointing me to mud floods, was Barnabas Nagy.
God, yeah.
That was the weird. I thought I'd never heard of that until recently, until you brought it up the first time. I was like, what?
I got to be honest, it's not something I'd ever heard of, and I actually had a customer of mine trying to speak to me about it one day, and I couldn't believe what he was saying to me. And I just said to him in the end, can you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Can you hear how stupid that sounds? The whole world was flooded by mud.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's almost as ridiculous as Noah's Ark.
Yeah, I know, and the what was it, the cellar windows and stuff like that. That was the thing that got me. That was hilarious.
Allow me to correct you. They're not cellar windows. They're mud flood windows. And it's like, come on, really?
Covered half with mud. Yeah.
It absolutely baffles me. But that's the whole thing. See, and I think there's a big difference between the JFK situation and, we'll say, flat Earth, obviously, because that's the main focus of all our channels. The JFK conspiracy, if you want to use that word, is something that you could potentially look into and find either way. Yeah. But the Earth being flat.
Yeah. Oh no, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. It's like, well, I've sort of come to a conclusion that I can't prove that we live on a globe, right? Mm-hmm. But I form the opinion that we live on a globe because there's a massive amount of evidence that indicates that we do live on a globe.
Yeah.
That's the kind of way they look at it. And there's just not even close to being sufficient evidence to prove that we live on a flat Earth. Not even close to it.
No. Well, there really isn't any, is there? Because everything they claim as evidence of the Earth being flat is so easily debunked by anybody.
Yeah.
That they've got nothing, and I've said this in videos. I think I've said it in these chats previously, but they always claim that all the photos of Earth are all fake CGI photos, and of course they're always from NASA.
Yeah.
So why, if this technology is so easily available and so easily manipulated, why aren't there images of the flat Earth from space floating around the internet?
Yeah,
if it was that easy, they would do it.
Yeah.
And say, we have photos as well. We say yours are wrong. Now you show out how ours are, why ours are wrong.
Exactly.
But they don't, do they? But they don't. They seem to get so obsessed with getting overly technical about it. They don't think of the simplest things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the simplest things, isn't it? And that's quite often the strongest thing. Exactly. We've probably got literally hundreds of thousands or even millions of photographs of but at least parts of the Earth where you can see a curve, or you can actually see the whole Earth. The first one, the biggest one that came out was obviously the original blue marble.
Yeah.
And they're claiming that every single one of those, and of course we've got the Himawari satellite looking at the the southern hemisphere and all the rest of it. And that's producing, I don't know how many photographs it produces a day, but it's quite a few. And they're claiming that every single one of those are all CGI.
Yeah, so they somehow now have developed the ability to CGI pictures of the Earth in real time.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like you said, exactly. But but hang on, where's your photographs of the flat Earth? The entire flat Earth, please.
Yeah, exactly. And see, because
the ice wall.
Yeah, I know, the ice wall. I remember when I first started doing this, and I watched a couple of Simon Dan's videos. I saw a few other people's videos, and then I thought about it. And I can remember being sat there in my office one day and thinking, right, so, and this was before I had looked into it a lot and saw why they claimed these things. But my first thought was, why isn't it always light? If the Earth is flat,
exactly,
the sun's always up there, how does nighttime come? But of course, then they've got this ridiculous and elaborate explanation of the sun is small and you know how the story goes. My instant thought was, well, how do we have day and night?
Yeah. It's almost like on the flat Earth, kind of like the light photons suddenly stop.
Yeah.
At the point of the shadow. Yeah, this is dark. Okay, photons have to stop here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think another one that particularly stood out to me was I can't remember whose video it was now. But he said for the sun to work the way flat earthers claim it worked, it would have to have a giant lampshade over it.
Yeah.
To be able to direct,
like a spotlight sort of thing.
Like a spot lamp. Yeah.
Well, that's what some of them actually claim. Some of them actually claim that it's like a disc, and it just acts like a sunlight, But we know that it doesn't, because we can actually see the corona, the sun, the solar corona, when you see an eclipse. So that kind of bunks that.
Do you know what it always reminds me of, right? And I obviously now I'm about to show how terrible my sense of humor is, but I find Ali G very funny. It's stupid, childish humor, but I find him very funny. And he interviewed, was it Buzz Aldrin he interviewed?
Oh,
and yeah. Obviously, it's satire, right? But
right.
And I just find it really hysterical, and I'm probably about to show how much of a child I am. But he asked Buzz Aldrin, does he think that we'll ever make it to the sun? And Buzz Aldrin said, well, no, we wouldn't be able to go to the sun because it's too hot. And he said, what if you go at night? But to me, that's the way flat earthers think.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they think. Radical has just pointed out it was Cool Hard Logic, that lampshade video.
Oh, was it? Okay.
But yeah, that seems to be the level of intelligent thought that they work with.
I know.
The sun is cold at night, so we'll send a ship to the sun, but we'll have to go at night.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the answer to the next question, with you being you, is a fairly obvious one. But if you could switch lives with somebody for a day, who would you choose? And it can be anyone from history.
Oh God, oh blimey. I suppose it's probably got to be Neil Armstrong, wouldn't it? I think I'd do myself an injustice if I didn't say that. They get to step on the moon for sure. Oh yeah. I think so.
I knew it would be one of the.
But then again, it's kind of like it's a dangerous thing. And what with him being a pilot and all the rest of it as well, he was a test pilot, wasn't he? So then again, it's kind of thinking, well, if I could just sort of like put myself in his body just before launch. Step on the moon, and then maybe on the way back I can come back to me again.
Swap back out. Just go there for the fun parts. Leave all the dangerous bits to him.
Exactly.
That's kind of the way I think as well.
Or either that, or Buzz Aldrin, or somebody like that. Because those are the names that I kind of was synonymous since I was about 6 or 7 years of age. They were heroes of mine.
Yeah. So you've had sort of a lifelong interest in all things space related, then
off and on. I think my early part of my childhood, I looked at a lot of picture books and read a lot of books, and then might have got disinterested in it with a while. When you're a teenager, you're busy drinking and chasing girls. And then I was busy with work, and then I kind of get interested in it again, and it was kind of off and on for many years. But over those years, I suppose I've read quite a lot of books and sort of seen a lot of videos and stuff like that as well. So
I think that's all part of adult life, isn't it? Things that you may have been particularly interested in when you were younger, they just seem to get. So it's that life gets in the way kind of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, I've also got a really bad memory. Well, it's not so much bad memory. I think it's a selective memory because I don't know about you, but I will always remember the things that I'm particularly interested in.
Yeah, same as me.
If I'm not that interested in it, I just forget because it's like finer details of the science behind it.
Yeah,
I forget, and I've read books about it.
Yeah.
I'm exactly
the same.
Half of it. It's most of it.
I'm exactly the same. If it's something which is of interest to me, I will absorb and retain that information. Yeah. But if I'm not interested in it at all, then. No, it's just in one ear straight out the other. I can't seem to retain it, and I seem to absorb information better if I'm watching somebody present it. So,
definitely,
I'm not a reader. I never have been a reader. But I can watch a video about something somebody is making a presentation on. We'll say space, for example, and I can retain a high percentage of that information then and learn from it because I found that I've learned a hell of a lot. Since I've been doing this, there's things I know now that I was completely oblivious of. I had absolutely no clue about these things. But now, I sit down and I think, bloody hell, I know that now. Yeah. I see somebody mention it, I think, I know the answer. I know do you know what I mean? And it's all from doing what we do.
Yeah. Prime example. I didn't even have a clue before I joined this community what refraction was. Didn't have a notion. I heard the name before, but didn't know what it was. And it was actually just recently that I thought, right, I'm going to learn about this because I didn't understand what they were talking about during the debates and things like that. So we were, I think we watched, I think it was when I was with, on Terry's stream, you've had Terry on, I think, haven't you? Terry Davies? Aussie Perspective.
Yeah.
I'm in his stream quite a lot, so we were talking about refraction and this particular video that Riley made, and I actually learned some stuff about refraction, so I know what it is now. I know how it works.
Yeah,
brilliant, fantastic.
I'm exactly the same with with various things, and understanding sort of why certain things are going on, and I remember being at school and absolutely despising physics, hated it. But now I suddenly find myself particularly interested in it.
Yeah. I think it's those eureka moments when it gets you interested in it. You kind of think, I get it now. And you think, that's actually quite interesting.
That's exactly right. Because I think if you've got a limited understanding of something, it takes away from the level of interest you've got in that thing. But once, like you say, once you suddenly, it's like that light bulb moment, you're like, crap, that's why it does that.
Yeah.
Actually, that's really bloody interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what does the casual spaceman do when he's not making videos then?
What does the casual spaceman do when he's not making videos? He, I'm a member of St. John's Ambulance, so I do a bit of that. So that keeps me occupied. Other than that, playing around with my kids and doing domestic stuff and just being me.
So being a dad and a husband then.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I'm not married at the moment. I'm recently divorced, but I'm living with a better half now. Yeah. She smiled over there. She's sitting over there.
I was going to say she must be close because you said that.
Yeah, exactly. I'll say a bit quieter next time.
Yeah. I've got to be careful what I say as well because my wife likes to jump on and spy on me while I'm live streaming just to see who I'm chatting to.
So yeah, and I spend quite a lot of time actually with Terry Davis and the Aussie Perspective and that crew and Blue Marble Science and all those guys and stuff like that. So yeah, I spend quite a lot of time with them talking about stuff and learning a whole lot of stuff as well. So that's kind of why I do it. You know?
So have you been involved with St. John's Ambulance for a lot of years or?
No, only a couple of years now, actually. Only a couple of years, yeah. But I don't know if you remember, but I wanted to join. I was tempted to join St. John's years and years and years ago. I probably would still be with them now. But do you know what it was? It was their uniform at the time. I don't know if you remember St. John's Ambulance when they had the black jumper and the white shirt, the black tie.
Do. And the reason I do is because I used to be a member of St. John's Ambulance.
Did you?
Many years ago, which is why I asked about it in particular.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it was the uniform that put me off.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing that.
Because it was when I was a teenager, because I was particularly interested. When I was in school, my dream career was to be a paramedic, well, an ambulance man, ambulance driver, whatever you want to call it, but paramedics now, aren't they? But that was my sort of ambition, and it was one that I never ended up doing it. But I can remember being in St. John's Ambulance and thoroughly enjoying it and attending, mainly because we used to get to attend events and all that kind of thing. But it was very, very interesting, and a lot of what I learned stuck with me, you know, throughout my life. I can remember when I was, bloody hell, I must have been 16, 17, and my dad had what we thought was a heart attack. And I don't know why, but whenever there's a massive crisis, I suddenly become the calmest person in the world, and I literally took over. And it was all thanks to being in St. John's Ambulance. But I think
I'm the same a little bit, but I get more that from my dad because my dad was always good in a crisis. Underneath, actually inside, right, I'm actually panicking like mad, but on the on the outside, I'm not, and I can deal with it. And I think that was a good thing to bring to St. John's as well. So and I recently got advanced first aider, which I'm quite pleased with, and I wasn't even sure that I could pass that, to be honest with you, because there was a lot of stuff you needed to learn for that level. Hopefully, I could get to the next level. I could be able to actually go out on a crew with an ambulance because we help the NHS out over here in Northern Ireland quite a lot with emergency calls. So I'll be able to go as an extra crew member.
Right.
So I'm hoping to do that soon. I could go as a third member, as an observer, but I'd rather have my hands on. So hopefully I'll be doing that course soon. So
because what I always thought about it, because I don't know how it works anymore because it's many years since I was involved with St. John's Ambulance, but it must have been quite worrying for people when they got injured at one of these events and then they were presented with like a 14, 15-year-old boy accompanied by an adult, obviously, to treat them. But I can't remember anybody ever having any issues with it, but I often think, what did they think? Hang on, who's this kid? What the hell does he know?
Yeah, we get that with the cadets a little bit, but we get over it. I've got to correct myself. Ivan James Hunton said in the chat it's St. John, not St. John's. Quite correct, sir. I've always been told off when I'm with my mates from there as well. Stop saying St. John's. It's not. It's St. John.
Yeah, St. John's. Right. I always called it as well, and I clearly still do. So, but what do I know?
Yeah, so that's what I do in my time outside of being a casual spaceman. Yeah.
So, have you ever had any of your subscribers do anything strange in form of a comment, or has anybody sent you anything, or?
Not any of my subscribers. No, I don't think so.
No.
No, I mean I've got some really useful subscribers. I've got one subscriber who's hangs on my Discord, and he sends me all kinds of videos and stuff like that, really, because he enjoys what I enjoy. No, I don't think so. I don't think I've anybody sent me. Why have you? Have you had any subscribers tell you about anything strange or come out with any strange?
Nothing that I'd say on live stream, but yes, and I think I may delete that question because everybody says no. So maybe it's, I'm starting to think that maybe it's just me. But anyway, back to your videos. We'll move on from that topic rather swiftly.
Okay, all right then.
What's your sort of creative process like? I find a video, I dump it into Filmora, I watch a bit, cut it, react to it, watch a bit more, cut it, react to it. So how do you actually make your videos?
Right, if I'm making a video, that's a good question. I would kind of watch it several times. Well, not maybe several times, or maybe 2 or 3 times, and I would kind of imagine what I would say at this point, or cut at that point, or put in at this point, and then I would then download it. Because if I think that I can't do it, then I thought, well, there's no point in me wasting my time downloading it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And then I put it in one. I've got one file which I use for most of the stuff, for Filmora. So I put that downloaded file into that, and then I just download it straight into Filmora, and then I just start doing what I've already imagined I would do. Yeah. It doesn't always quite turn out the way I imagined it to turn out, but that's kind of how I kind of work at it. Yeah,
Casual Spaceman, I apologise for interrupting you, but we have Flat Earth royalty in the side chat. Good evening, Flat Earth Jesus. I hope you're well, sir. And furthermore, I hope you're on your best behaviour.
Oh, I'm sure he will. He's all right. He's okay.
Ross is all right, actually.
Yeah, he's all right. He's okay. For
an Australian, anyway. Living upside down with all that blood rushing to his head must be absolutely horrendous. I can't even bend down and do my shoelaces up without getting a head rush. Yeah. Dear me. Sorry, mate, I interrupted you, but so we all, it sounds to me as if we all kind of do it. It's sort of a variation of the same process, because like I say, when I'm picking a video to make a video about, I usually just watch the first maybe 5 minutes of it to be able to gauge, am I going to be able to do something with it? I try never to watch the whole video through until I'm actually making the video, if that makes sense. Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. No, I'm same thing. I don't really doubt. If I don't think I could do anything with it, I don't even bother downloading it. Yeah, that's what I do as well. And usually you can get an idea from the first sort of 5 minutes, can't you? Yeah. Or so sometimes even less. Or even a couple of minutes. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes even a couple of minutes, because sometimes I produce videos that are only 2 or 3 minutes long. Yeah. And it's usually sort of like a video that I found from NASA or wherever it is, and I've put my own sort of twist on it. I put, added a little bit to it or something like that. But the first couple of minutes you can tell whether you're going to do something with it. So I kind of watch it, and sometimes I'll pause it and I think, well, what would I say at this point, or what would I do at that point? And I keep playing it. So it's kind of like, I'm almost like editing in my head. Yeah, I know what you mean, because I do something very similar. Try to think of something witty to say at a particular point, and if nothing comes to mind, then it kind of gives you the idea that maybe this isn't the right video for me. Maybe I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. So it sounds to me as if we all work the same way. Just somebody said in chat, Ivan James, he said, is Filmora 3. You can get a free trial of Filmora, but Filmora itself is not free. It's 50 quid, isn't it? If I remember correctly. It's not very expensive at all. No, and it's very, very easy to learn as well, isn't it? I'm sure you'd agree. Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely. The learning curve is not very steep at all on Filmora, and it's well worth the money because there's so much support available around it. A friend of mine actually has got a channel and he produces content. He's a full-time content creator, but he's also sort of kind of employed by Filmora to make instructional videos. And basically, if there's anything you want to be able to do with Filmora, the guy's name is Daniel Batal, and that's what his channel's called as well. And if he can't teach you how to do something in Filmora, then you don't need to know how to do it, kind of thing. And I'm not saying that because I'm friendly with him. He's a genuinely nice guy, and pretty much everything I've learned how to do on Filmora, I've learned from watching his videos. Is there like I'm going to ask you a question now. Is there kind of like a limit in terms of how long your videos would be? Do you stick to a time limit? How do you work yours? To be honest with you, the videos I make are as long as they need to be. All right. Okay. I'll be honest, I do try to make sure that they're always just over 10 minutes for obvious reasons. This is now pretty much my full-time job, so obviously it's in my interest to make sure that I can get sufficient ads in there. And I know some people don't like them, but you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, this is a free platform, and ad revenue is one of the ways that we earn money from doing it. But you know, I've not really got a rule that says my videos must be 15 minutes long or must be 18 minutes long. It just depends on how it goes, and it'll be as long as it needs to be. Sometimes they are just under 10 minutes because I'm not going to sort of stretch it out just to tip myself over the 10-minute mark, even though that's preferable. But they're as long as they need to be, mate, is the honest answer.
Yeah, like I'm pretty much the same, really. I mean, I must admit, I don't like it when it starts, because when I've looked at the analytics, I've always found that videos that are under 20 minutes seem to get the most in terms of sort of like how much, I always forget what the analytics call, when the how much time they actually view
audience retention.
The video. Yeah, audience retention. Sorry, that's the word. I couldn't think what the word is. Right. I always found that the audience retention is better with videos that are under 20 minutes than after 20 minutes. It always seems to be that. So I've always got into my head, I'd like to keep it within 20 minutes, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah, no, exactly. But like I say, I've not got a set time. The videos are as long as they need to be. And Ross is saying that he always skips the ads, but he would, wouldn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're a bad man, Ross. Even though you've got a majestic beard, how can you skip the ads? I bet you're the type of person who's got ad blocker installed, aren't you?
I would never suggest to anybody that they skip ads. Never suggest that, because that would be against the rules, wouldn't it, Creaky?
Exactly.
We would never suggest that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So in the presence of Flat Earth royalty, do you think that what we do is actually helping anybody?
I'd like to think so. Obviously, we only hear about the ones that will actually say in public whether they were ex-flat earthers and they've come over to the other side. I mean, you know, conspiracy cats with what's that fella's name? Kind of turned him as well, wasn't it? Was it See Truth?
Seek Truth. See Truth, Speak Truth.
That's it. See Truth, Speak Truth. You know, that's one prime example. I know at least two others, but then again, you don't really know about the ones you don't hear about, do you? So
no, exactly. And I'm trying to get in touch with Seek Truth, Speak Truth to get him on here, because I think that would be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think it would be very interesting to hear the story from the perspective of somebody who's come to their senses. No offense, Ross, obviously, but you know, everybody else in the side chat will know what I mean. I think it would be he'd be a very interesting guy to chat to. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. There's a few others in the community. I don't know if you ever heard of Only Sheeple Can't See. You might have seen him around a Discord.
I've seen the name.
Yeah, he used to be a flat earther. I'm trying to think who else there was. That's all I can think of just at the moment. And of course, Jose as well. Of course, he's another one.
But it's like you say, you know, there's those three people then have sort of publicly come to the realization that they've just been believing in nonsense. Exactly. But how many others are there that, you know, for example, damn, and his name escapes me now. I can see him now. Not D-Marble. What the hell is his name? He's one of the very first videos, and his channel has just disappeared altogether.
Was that guy, was it? Or
I know his channel's disappeared, but I can't think of his bloody name now.
What, is he a flat earther now, is he? Or?
No, well, his channel just completely disappeared.
Don't know.
I bet somebody in the side chat's gonna know. No, not Delano Edwards. Go M-Benz. Thank you, Rajigal.
Oh, right, okay. He's disappeared, has he?
Completely disappeared. His channel is gone, but it's been gone for a long time. It's not something that's happened recently. Yeah, his channel disappeared a long time ago.
It's funny, somebody was saying to me as well the same thing, as well, we haven't heard anything from M-Benz for a long time. We wonder what has happened to him, but now we know.
His channel doesn't even exist. So is it that he's realised finally and just quietly faded away, or is it?
Who knows? Who knows?
This is why I love Flat Earth Aussie Jesus. There's too much logical and observable proof for Flat Earth. Give us an example, Ross. Show us a photo. Show us proof.
Yeah, let's not
never
get
be able. You'll never be able to, Ross. As much as you'd like it to be true, I'm afraid some things just aren't. And if there's any kids listening, cover their ears, because Santa Claus isn't real either.
What?
Exactly.
Oh, damn.
It just
Creaky.
It just baffles me. Absolutely baffles me how grown-ups can believe in something so childish and ridiculous.
Oh, there you go.
Absolutely baffles me. So who knows that you've got a YouTube channel then? Is it sort of amongst your sort of circle of friends? Is it generally known? Or has anybody ever recognised you while you've been out and about and said, I've seen you on the tubes?
Unlike you, Creaky, no, never. I'll never anybody recognised
nobody's ever recognised me either. Nobody's ever recognised me either. Thankfully.
I thought you said at one point somebody did say to you that guy, you know?
Oh, that was all right. It's happened once. Yeah, it's happened once, but it was. Well,
it's one more time than me.
yeah, I'd forgotten about that actually. But he's somebody that lives local and actually knows my son, so he cheated a little bit and he got a bit overexcited and asked for a photo, and it was the most uncomfortable thing I have ever experienced in my life.
Obviously,
absolutely cringe-tastic.
Obviously, my family know what I do. My kids avoid it because they think I'm cringe.
Well, yeah, you're the dad, aren't you? So exactly. you are completely uncool, as am I.
Yeah, exactly. They think I'm too geeky, so they don't tell my friends that you tell their friends that I'm a YouTuber as well. So that it's kind of like no, too cringy for them. Yeah. One of them being a teenager anyway, so I'm sure you can imagine.
I've only got one teenager as well, but the other two are adults. They're both in their 20s, but I'm sure they all think I'm equally as cringeworthy as the next.
According to my mum and dad, they've watched one or two of my videos, and I think that's about it really. So as far as the rest of my friends go, I think they've kind of looked at it, but they're not really interested in the kind of stuff that I'm interested.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Outside of this community, I really don't know in fact, I don't know anybody personally that's interested in the sort of stuff that I'm interested in.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay. I'm a bit like that as well. You know, I'm interested in some quite odd things, and you find that you never really having a conversation with anybody about anything that you're interested in, because to somebody who doesn't follow it, it's probably the most boring thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, well, compared to yours, mine's a little bit more niche than you, because I mean, you have a poke at fun at all kinds of people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you have a bit of fun with them. So
yeah, but you know, this is why I think my approach is different. You know, and I like to think that even the people I've made videos about can see that it's done in fun. Yeah. You know, I don't care if somebody believes the Earth is flat or a triangle, as long as their belief isn't being forced onto somebody else and hurting them. That's where my problem with the whole thing comes on. I don't like the thought, but that applies to anything, not just flat Earth. I feel exactly the same way with religion and everything. You know, there was an instance in Swansea last week. There was a group of vegans protesting outside McDonald's restaurant, and they had a screen there, and they were playing video footage of animals being slaughtered, and they caused a young child to panic and run away, because they went into the McDonald's, and they caused a young child to panic, run away from them, and she fell down the stairs and got injured.
Oh, I think I remember hearing something about that, unless it was you that told me about it. Yeah, I did hear something about that.
Because they were trying to force their belief onto somebody else. You can't force a belief onto somebody else. Yeah. A belief is only a belief if somebody chooses to believe.
Yeah, good point.
Do you know what I mean? And I suppose the same could be applied to us in a sense. Yeah. If somebody is convinced that the Earth is flat, nothing we ever say is going to convince them otherwise. They've got to come to that realization for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm also a great believer in sort of like, well, you know, you can believe whatever you want to believe. In fact, I'll fight for your right to believe if the world's flat or a triangle or a pyramid or whatever you want. Yeah, you can believe in God if you want to believe. In fact, I'll defend your right to believe that. But don't expect me to believe what you believe. You know, and don't get upset if I don't believe what you believe, and don't get upset if I then tell you that you're wrong because of these reasons.
Exactly.
So you got to, for what it's the same with, it's like freedom of speech. You can have freedom of speech, but also with freedom of speech comes with a responsibility that, if you say something, you've also got to expect the backlash and the consequence for what you actually say.
Exactly.
Because then it's freedom of speech for other people to say, no, actually, you're talking crap.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I agree 100%. If you're going to say something, you've got to be prepared to back that up and provide proof, evidence, justification.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not justification, because different people believe different things, don't they? So, do I have to justify my belief to you? Probably not. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're keeping an eye on the side chat the same as I am, aren't you?
Yeah. But I didn't realise I keep having put my head out of camera shot there because I keep leaning over.
It's all right, mate. As long as everyone can hear us, I think. I don't think either of us are what people would choose to look at. So as long as they can hear us, I think we're good. I think we're good. So we very briefly touched on this earlier on. So if you could go right back to the beginning, right back to before you uploaded your first video, is there anything you would do differently, knowing what you've learned now?
Yeah, do it properly. Oh God. I think I'll probably, because I don't know why, I still don't know to this day, but my first video was about you. I have no idea why that was.
Was it really? I looked earlier.
I don't know why. I have no idea why. I keep looking back and think, what was I thinking? I should have just gone straight into what what I'm interested in. That's what I should have done.
Do you know what it was? And I think this was before we sort of knew each other or became acquainted. And you said something about me not being a science person, and I, in a fun way, said, "Oh, charming. So I'm not a science person then, am I?" And I think you thought that I meant it, and you actually apologized to me in the video, and it was like, no, I knew you were joking. It's fine. Calm down.
I wasn't sure at the time. I was thinking, have I upset him? He could be joking, but I'm not sure. I remember now.
I actually remember. Do you ever watch your own videos apart from when you're editing them, or because I'm a sicko and every so often I'll just go back and watch one of my old videos to see, mainly to see how crap they used to be, and in some cases still are.
Yeah, I did that just a couple of days ago. It was the same thing. It was that one video as well, and I keep looking back and going, "Oh, what are you saying?" Or how are you? Did he actually do that? And I had a green screen up for quite a long time, and I was doing several videos with just a plain green screen.
Yeah,
and I thought to myself, why didn't I just get it all sorted out properly and have the green screen and then actually use it? So that's one thing I probably would change as well. So it's a bit, definitely, it's a bit cringy. I think
Radical has just put that video link in the side chat as well.
Oh, no way!
So now he's going to publicly embarrass you. Thanks, Raji support.
I should have known, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have said anything, should you?
Yeah, especially Radical there. Of course, he's
what did they say? Silence is golden.
And at the time, actually, when I was looking at it, I was thinking, oh, shall I delete it or not? Shall I delete it or not? I don't know. Ooh, but maybe it's kind of a good lesson. You kind of think back.
No, do you know what it is? I think our older videos, and this applies to all of us, are good for us to look back on, because it sort of because everybody likes to think that they're doing as good a job as they possibly can do.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to confirm to yourself if you are is to look back on, right, what were my videos like 6 months ago or 12 months ago? I'm happy now because, they are much better. So I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing. No, you're probably doing the right thing, Radical, but I'm going to get you back.
Yeah, revenge is a dish best served cold.
I'm going to look back on your very first video and let's just see what it's like.
Yeah, I've never looked at Radical's. It's probably knowing
him. It's probably really good.
It's probably exactly the same as the videos he put up tonight.
Exactly.
Knowing Radical.
Yeah.
So again, I think this is going to be a very predictable answer, but if you could witness any event, past, present or future, what would it be?
Oh, I'll tell you what I could do past. I think that's going to be an obvious question as well. Obviously, I would love to have actually seen Apollo 11 lift off. I'd love to have actually been there and seen it, at Cape Canaveral. Would love to see that.
Yeah.
Future, I think, would actually be definitely, because one of the things I've always wanted to see. I'd die a reasonably happy man if I actually see humans step on Mars.
Yeah.
So I'd like to be around for that. At least see that on video.
Do you think that's possible within our lifetime, though? Because we're of similar age, aren't we, I think?
Yeah,
or have I just terribly offended you?
No. I think we probably are a similar age. You know what? I'm not 100% sure, but I think we might. Ask me that 5 years ago, I would have said no.
Yeah.
But now with the ambitions that NASA has at the moment, and I hope that continues, that might be a possibility. And of course, you've got SpaceX has said they're going to do it as well, so they're not restrained by politics and what have you as well. So I think it could be possible. I think it could be. It couldn't be safe for certain. Wouldn't like to stick my neck out, but we're definitely going to see humans back on the moon. Not sure whether it would be by 2024, but I think within
isn't
this
that
decade,
what they're predicting?
What's that? Sorry?
Isn't that what they're predicting by, was it 2024 I saw, or 25, or?
No, NASA 2024 is 2024 is what NASA's aiming for. That's what they're aiming for.
Right. I thought I'd seen something along those lines.
I'm not 100% sure whether it's going to be by 2024, but I'm predicting probably more likely 2026 maybe. I could be wrong, and I'm hoping proved wrong. But then again, there's still a huge amount to learn. About getting to Mars at the moment. Still so much, because if you look at the amount of probes that have been sent to Mars, only something like about 45% of them have been successful and landed safely. So massive amount to learn, so much to learn about at the moment. So we're a long way from that, but we're making quite big strides towards it.
Because I always get this thought in my mind: what's it going to be like in? And I know we will never see it, but technologically speaking, where will we be in 100 years?
Oh, God, blimey.
Will Mars be easily within reach by then? Will, going to the moon for whatever purpose be a frequent event because it will be so easily achievable in 100 years? Because if you consider, the fact that back in the very, I forgot now when I saw it this bloody week, the first flight was was it right at the end of the 1800s or just early? No, the Wright brothers, I can't bloody remember now. But we haven't, but the point I'm trying to make is we've not had the ability to fly for very long. I know. And look how far we've come now. This bloody hell, the Airbus, the A380 is practically a hotel that takes off and flies you to where you want to go. So I always think, where will we be in 100 years from now?
That's a really good question. I would like to think by that point we are looking to at least trying to terraform Mars. That's one of the big things that a lot of people in my community talk about, is terraforming Mars.
Right.
It's going to take more than 100 years to terraform it completely. It will take probably a couple hundred years. So they might be on the strides doing that. Oh, blimey. I often wonder what it's more likely going to be like on Earth. What with climate change rapidly going forward at the moment as well. What it's going to be like here on Earth. I really do. That's what I think about probably most of the time, strangely enough, considering what I'm interested in. Don't get me wrong, I think about the moon and Mars and all the rest of it. In terms of the moon, in 100 years' time, we'll have bases all over it, I think. All over it.
Because like you say about what will it be like on Earth, and I think about that as well, when I can only base it on my own lifetime, but when I was a 10-year-old child, I didn't have a television in my room, and then when I did, it was a black and white one, and you had to turn the dial and sort of tune it in. And then maybe when I was in my early teens, I had a color TV, and I can remember my parents getting their first remote control TV, and my dad pretending that they had a magic TV.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And when they bought their first microwave, things that we all consider
day-to-day things,
everyday normal things. Now, my children, well, my oldest two probably can, but my youngest son certainly can't remember life pre-social media, pre-smartphone. Do you know what I mean? And crazy, it gives you, So when you look at it like that, based on our lifetime and black and white TVs when we were kids and this kind of thing, what's it going to be like? What technology will there be available to the everyday man in, 2100 and
whatever years,
whatever,
exactly.
Whatever year you want to say.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Sadly, none of us will be around to see it, but
no.
It does make for some interesting thinking.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, it just reminded me, actually, when you were talking about phones and things like that. There was a YouTube video of a guy who was asking his teenage sons, and what he did was he put one of those old dial telephones in front of them, and he says, right, make a phone call. And they couldn't work it. They go, "Where's the screen? Where's the screen? Where's the buttons?" They couldn't figure out how to dial a number. You know? And and now, back in the 80s, as I'm sure you remember, the people that had the mobile phones were the yuppies. You remember those great big things that used to walk around in London with? You remember
a giant brick?
Yeah, you remember them. So they're the only ones that had those kind of that mobile phone technology.
Only mobile phones were for rich people.
That's it,
and that was like you say, the yuppies, the city men in London. They were the only ones who had mobile phones. But now everyone and their bloody nana's got a mobile phone.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I couldn't, I mean, then how dependent we've become on it as well.
Yeah, as we said before we went live, everybody who's here will know that you should have been on the other week, but you had some internet issues, and it just goes to show how heavily we do actually rely on technology.
And that was only a few hours, and it drove me nuts.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Yeah, I know. You don't realise how much you're using it until you haven't got it there anymore.
I know.
So we were saying earlier on about, who knows that you're a YouTuber and everything. So have you ever sort of had to explain to anybody? Has anybody ever said, what do you do on YouTube then? Have you ever had to have that conversation? Because I just find it really awkward.
Well, obviously with my St. John's colleagues and stuff like that, I happened to mention something about YouTube videos as well, and and I said, I make YouTube videos, and of course I had to explain the whole thing. But then it's kind of like they're definitely not interested in the same things as because then I start talking about it, and you can see their eyes glaze over. He's kind of like, I'll stop talking now because I could talk for hours about it, but to a lot of people it's boring. So I've had for a few people, and obviously my family and stuff like that as well, and my friends and things like that. One or two of my friends think I'm bonkers.
Yeah, because when people have asked me, and I'll say, I make anti-flat Earth videos, all they hear is flat Earth, and you can see the look of confusion on their face.
Exactly.
You think the Earth is flat, and it's like, no, I'm not an idiot. I make fun of people who think the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
But it's just a strange conversation to have with somebody because unless people are involved, a lot of people don't even realize that you can actually earn a living on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's the same thing when I explained as well that I kind of revolve around the kind of like the anti-flat Earth community. They said the anti-what? Flat Earth. Same thing. What the Earth is? People believe the Earth is flat, and actually that's a bit more of an icebreaker because then we just have a little bit of a laugh about it, and I tell them about all the strange theories and things like that people believe in about the dome and the ice wall and all this kind of stuff as well. So a few times,
And talking about strange theories, and this is one of my favourite questions. Do you really think, and present company excluded, Ross, do you really think any of these guys actually, in their heart of heart, genuinely do believe that the Earth is flat?
Some do, some don't.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know there's some that, what was the word you use, is oppose. And they're either doing it for the money or they're doing it for notoriety.
Yeah.
You can tell after a time. You can tell who those people are.
Yeah.
And they know full well that the Earth isn't flat. But for whatever reason, they're doing it for their reasons. And there's some people like Ross here that genuinely do believe the Earth is flat. And actually, come to think of it, I think they're the more genuine people. As wrong as they might be, they're more genuine. And it's people like I know for a fact that Oakley doesn't believe the Earth is flat. He's a through and through. You can just tell, and everybody says it.
Yeah, I've said this again in many live streams, but isn't there either screenshots or audio footage of him saying that he doesn't care if the world is shaped like a dick as long as people keep giving him money for the videos he makes.
Oh, is there? I'm sure there probably is.
Something along those lines.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah, there's been a few little comments that he's made that kind of think, hold on a minute. You know what I mean? It's like, I generally don't think he believes the earth is flat. Yeah. He's doing it mostly for the money and the notoriety.
Yeah. You know? But then you've got people then like Anthony Riley, whose channel isn't monetized. So, and he's a very eloquent guy. So why is he doing it? And it's people like him I done it. Do you think so?
Notoriety, yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, without doubt. He's not doing it for the money. He's just doing it for the notoriety. Yeah. That's all it is. And look at me. I'm challenging mainstream science. You know, but if the guy can't even work out, the internal angles of an equilateral triangle.
Yeah, it's kind of like the clue's in the name, isn't it?
Yeah,
equilateral triangle. But the thing is, and I know there's an exception to every rule, but how can I phrase this now? If there's this, I've read it right, and it says that a lot of people involve themselves in things like the flat Earth community, moon landing denier community, if there is a community, purely for the community aspect of it. Now, I know that young Ross here and his majestic beard don't really involve themselves in a community as such, so he's kind of a lone wolf. That's what I was getting at, with there always being an exception to the rule. But a lot of them, like you say, Nathan Oakley, Anthony Riley, that, Ranty, that crowd, they're all just like little flat Earth gang, aren't they? Yeah, the only thing they're missing is jackets with "We Are Flat Earthers" embroidered on the back. So I think that's a big part of it. And I know that there is obviously I'm not a psychologist, but there's like a psychological sort of opinion that a very big part of it is the sense of belonging to a community and falling into line and just saying what makes you fit into that community.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt there is actually absolutely a big part of it. I fully admitted at the start, one of the reasons why I get involved in this community, because the sense of community is one of the reasons why I do it. Yeah, because people help you out. So yeah, I don't doubt that it's on the other side as well, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah,
and this is an awesome community. And again, I know I repeat myself, but I love repeating myself, so I will do it again. This community is very, very different from the flat Earth believers community, because they all seem to fight amongst themselves. You just don't see that on our side.
No, you don't.
Do you know what I mean?
You get the odd little bickering about things, but we certainly don't row about the shape of the Earth.
No, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's generally something and nothing, isn't it? On our side, it may be an agreement over something trivial, but with them, they can't. They all say the Earth is flat, but they can't agree on which version. Exactly. Is there a dome? Is there not a dome? And that's the main one that stands out to me.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many different models. There's so many different ideas. Yeah. Like you said, some believe there's a dome. Some believe they don't. Some believe the sun's inside the dome or outside the dome. Some people think there's waters outside the dome. Some people don't. Some people believe there's an ice wall. Some people think there isn't. And there's so many different variations, and that's why they actually do disagree with each other all the time about their interpretation of scientific facts or the shape of the Earth, or whether there is or isn't a dome.
And therein lays the problem, because how can a community like that agree on something that just isn't factually accurate, isn't provable, isn't true? It's easy for people who understand that we live on a globe to agree, because we all know what reality looks like.
Yeah.
But with the flat earthers, they've all got their own interpretation of what the flat Earth is.
Yeah.
As you say, is it covered by a dome? Is there no dome? Is there an ice wall? Haven't any of them ever thought that ice just floats? So
exactly.
How much use is that wall?
Yeah, exactly. The way I think a lot of people have heard me say this before, right? But I use what I call the jigsaw analogy, right?
Yeah.
Is you look at the bigger picture, right? So say, for instance, the big picture, what we see is a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, right? But what a lot of conspiracy theories do as well is, I say this with all conspiracy theorists, is they will take say 20 pieces out of that jigsaw puzzle. Say one piece is, say, a little bit of information they think is a little bit wrong that doesn't make any sense. So they take those 20 pieces and then they try and make a picture out of those 20 pieces. It's just not going to work. And that's kind of how I kind of view it, is that I will look at the bigger picture. I will see the whole thing, and I would rather know more about the whole thing rather than sort of taking little bits and think, no, hang on, that's wrong. It can't be. We can't be living on a globe because of those 20 pieces looking at me as the bigger bit. He's giving you a picture, but it's not.
Yeah, no, exactly. You know? And there we are. Ross has just put something in the side chat. I don't know if you can see it. First rule in science is to observe natural occurrences, then figure out why and try to disprove hypothesis. Do you ever see things fall up? No, you don't see things fall up.
No.
Up is the opposite of down, but flat earthers don't seem to have a very good understanding of what down means.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You see, Ross and people like him, kudos to Ross. He firmly believes in what he believes in. So, you know, credit him for what he, and he's genuinely, he's in the most part a nice guy. Yeah. We've had a couple of little heated debates, but that's all right. Is that they will look at things, but they won't actually ask why things happen the way they happen necessarily. They will sort of see, well, okay, I can see this happening, therefore it is this. But rather than looking into it a little bit deeper, asking more the questions, and then, like I said before, look at more of the bigger picture, get the bigger picture rather than just looking at just gravity alone. And if you don't understand it, look at everything else. And then what you'll find is that gravity fits nicely in that big jigsaw puzzle. You know, this is the thing. You need to ask the right questions. Not just the questions that you want to get straight in your own mind, but ask questions about everything.
Yeah, they ask questions that fit into their narrative.
Yeah.
And any question outside that, they avoid or just simply call bullshit on, which is completely ridiculous because the way I see it, to put it in its simplest terms, a flat earther thinks that's down. Yeah? But down is towards the center of mass. So down is down wherever your position is, still towards the center, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? In its simplest terms. But flat earthers just see down as being there. It's just in that direction, which kind of, but it's not quite that cut and dry because, as you just said, there's much more to it. There's a much bigger question than which direction is down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no, completely. I agree. Yeah,
right then, side chat. If anybody would like to send any questions through for the Casual Spaceman, fire away now.
Be nice.
Be nice. Tag either. I'm speaking to you, Ross. Be nice. Tag either myself or the Casual Spaceman in the side chat and fire your questions over.
Ross can be he's not nasty usually anyway.
No, he's a nice guy. He always strikes me as a nice guy. He quite often comments on my videos, and he's generally very personable to me anyway. You know,
you can even if it's something personal, I don't mind. You can ask me something about my life, and I'm not going to dox myself, so I won't go into too much detail. But you can ask me whatever you like about me. I don't mind.
Yeah.
You haven't used my name, I don't think. Matt, by the way, is my first name, but that's all I'm going to tell you about my name. I'm not going to tell you anymore.
I deliberately didn't use your name. I nearly used it a couple of times because I know Mr. Sensible revealed his real name when he was on with me, so I didn't want to be responsible for.
And funny enough, actually, Mr. Sensible was the first one that actually said my name out live and on his live stream.
Oh, so he did it to you as well.
Yeah. I don't mind. No, I honestly don't mind. I don't mind the first name. I don't have a problem.
Right. So Radical wants you to tell him why you're so casual about playing a guitar in space.
I can't play a note, Radical, and he knows that. I've told him many times. Can't play a blinking note, and also you can't hear anybody playing the guitar in space, can you? Because there's no vacuums and there's no medium for it to travel through without getting too sciencey.
Ivan James Hunt would like to know: have you ever lost it with a flat earther?
Yes.
Do you want to expand?
I'm not sure I want to now, actually, because I'm a little bit embarrassed about it. It was with I've forgotten his name now. Not Gleam. Oh, geez, it was on Discord anyway, and it got a little bit personal. And I kind of lost my rag a little bit. So that's kind of who it was. I've forgotten his name at the minute. It will come to me in a minute. I'll rubbish at remembering names. I kind of got a bit nasty. And I wish I hadn't now, but there you go. But actually, funny enough, after that, I had a really good scream and a rant. But actually, I felt so much better after that. It's almost like venting your spleen.
Yeah.
Because I had a whole load of stuff to do, and actually that motivated me to go and get the things done that I was putting off to do. So it's great in a way. I felt great the rest of the day after that.
Isn't Matt? You're not in the side chat anymore, are you? People are trying to tag you, and you're not coming up.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely in. I'm there.
Are you the casual spaceman or just casual spaceman?
On the chat, I'm the casual spaceman. There you go.
Yeah, I thought you were. I couldn't.
I've just put a few initials there just to should come up.
Yeah, nothing. Oh, there we are. There we are. So he's the casual spaceman.
Yeah, the casual spaceman. Yeah, but the side of it.
Ross is asking Ross is at the casual spaceman. He just put it in the side chat.
Is this you? It won't tag you. Oh yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, it's the casual spaceman.
Yeah,
Ross.
No, you've tagged me, Ross. That's right, Creaky Blinder. But Matt is the casual spaceman. Yeah. So if you've got a question, fire away.
Chris Johnson. The casual spaceman. Please explain why buoyancy has a gradient. Not for me, for Aussie Jesus. Oh, right, okay. Why buoyancy has a gradient? I'm sorry, I'm not qualified to answer that question. I honestly don't know what that means. Why has buoyancy got a gradient? Don't know. Can't answer that one, be honest. Don't know.
And this is what I do as well. If somebody asks me a question and I don't know the answer, I don't feel the need to pretend I do. I just say, I am going to Scooby-Doo. I've got no idea. But a lot of flat earthers will elaborate on nothing. They will just spit. There we are.
Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, I can answer that one. Best evidence for a globe. Well, tens of thousands of photographs.
Yeah.
Mentioned that earlier on as well. Yeah, that kind of thing.
That's
nice and simple.
Multiple photos per hour.
Yeah. But as I said before, Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, is that I look at the bigger picture, so I don't sort of think that's this is the thing that's going to prove the Earth. I can't prove that we live on a globe, okay? But what I could do is I can present evidence from my own knowledge, some things I don't know about, that can actually give a strong evidence towards it that might persuade people. And that's the same with most debunkers, I think, if they're honest. They can't necessarily prove that we live on a globe, but they can present very strong evidence and sufficient of it to persuade you that we do live on a globe. That's how I look at it.
But then it's the ability to accept that evidence as well, isn't it? And not just say that it's all nonsense. That's a very big part of it, in my opinion, anyway. Stephen Clark has tagged me and said, I can help you. What can you help me with, Stephen Clark? I'm intrigued because I am very nosy and now I want to know. Sixth Son asks you, do you think a lot of people who don't research even to the point that they accept the thruster scorching argument of the moon landing denial without looking up the fuels used, etc.?
What do you think of people? Well, again, that's it, exactly what you've just pointed out. You really just answer your own question. It's just they don't research. That's the thing. And when I saw somebody present that actually on Facebook, it looked. I had a feeling I knew what the answer was, but literally, it took me probably less than 5 minutes to research what it was.
Yeah.
And simply put, it was the fuels that they use. They were hypergolic fuels.
Yeah. Which
so you can't see a flame.
Yeah. They kind of self-ignite, don't they?
Yeah. Exactly.
The mixture. It's the mixing of the. Is it two elements, if I remember correctly? It's the mixing together of those two elements that cause the thrust, isn't it? They self-ignite. There we are. Again, sorry to keep going back to Ross, but easier. Right. Just say someone told you so you believe it because it came from an authority figure. Well, no, that's not what we're saying at all, Ross.
No,
that's not what we're saying at all. Why? So if somebody presents something to you, Ross, why do you not believe it?
Yeah. This is the thing. I mean, it's not just because I'm somebody from an authoritative figure actually told me so. It's not only that. I read a lot of books about it, and everything that I've been either told by somebody authority or by an author or whatever fits in reality what I can actually observe. And also, I can look at the stars. I've looked at stars through. I don't have a telescope myself, but I've looked through binoculars. I've seen through other people's telescopes, and I can see different things moving around the night sky that don't fit a flat Earth. I just know they don't. So it's everything that I observe. I don't just believe everybody that just tells me things. And it's the same, exactly what you just said there, Creaky, as well. Is that prime example? You got Nathan Oakley, who keeps saying to people, you just believe that people educated you, but if you look at his interview that he did, was it TED Talks or something? He actually said that Vice, that's it, Vice. He said that one night he woke up his wife because he watched a YouTube video and woke up his wife and said the Earth is flat.
I think that's a load of bullshit I do myself, if I'm being completely honest.
It probably is, but it's not the point. The thing is that a lot of people are getting influenced by social media and they're getting into flat Earth because they watched YouTube videos. And it's the same thing. So are you going to believe somebody who's made a YouTube video, or are you going to believe that somebody's studied and trained and gone to university and dedicated their lives to it?
Yeah.
Who are you going to believe?
And that's the thing, see, Ross refers to them as an authority figure. Yeah. How are they an authority? They does by an authority figure, does he mean an expert in a particular field?
Yeah.
Is that what he means by somebody who's an authority? Because somebody who's an authority on a particular topic is very different from an authority figure. Does that make sense? A policeman is a figure of authority.
Yeah, exactly. And I give an example as well, is that at some point in our lives, somebody's actually taught us very, very basic arithmetic, right? Because we know that we can go, if we went to a shop or a store that a lot of Americans used to like to say, if you buy $5 worth of groceries, you hand over a $10 bill, you're going to get $5 back, right? In change. Yeah. That's basic arithmetic. So somebody told us that at some point in our lives, right? So do we believe those people or not? So do you believe that you're getting $5 back?
Exactly.
So where does this thing about not believing maths or not believing what people tell us start and stop? Where's the line going to draw? That's
there we are. Again, apologies for going back to Ross, but he's just asked Global Mum. So you're saying that it's meaningless unless you actually bring evidence. Okay, Ross. So what evidence would a person like you accept?
Yeah.
Of the shape of the Earth? What evidence would be acceptable to you and would finally make you come clean and say, yeah, okay, I can see it now, the Earth is a globe, you're right?
But
I don't expect an honest answer, but we live in hope, don't we?
I mean, Ross, I can show you thousands of pictures of the Earth, but I know you're not going to accept them because you're going to say they're CGI, they're made up, they're fake. I know you are.
Yeah.
This is the problem we actually have. We're quite often told, oh, show us this and show us that. I'll give you the prime example. It went back a little while ago. Why can't you show us a video, an uncut video of a rocket going up into space?
Yeah.
You show them that. Like, for instance, there's ones they did on the shuttle and one they did on SpaceX and all the rest of it as well. You show them that. Oh, no, that's CGI. So it's what you're prepared to accept.
Yeah.
You can't.
There we are. Sorry, mate. Ross has just said a true picture of a curved ocean. There are hundreds of them. There's video footage. There's bags of it. But the problem is, see, Ross, that you won't accept that because you will just say that they're fake and that they're CGI. Aren't you the flat earther that famously said tennis is CGI and tennis isn't even real? So how can we possibly believe anything you say? Yeah. You say you'll accept pictures of a true curved ocean as proof of a globe, but yet you claim everything. Everyone knows what I'm saying. It's all very well saying this is what I'd accept. Watch a ship disappear over the curve. Yeah, you can.
There's hundreds of videos of ships going over the curve, though, Ross. But again, you're not going to accept them because you're just going to either say that's fake, or you're going to come out with some argument and say it's perspective or refraction and all these different things as well. You know, it's the same, Ross. We can give you all these things, but again, it's going to keep coming back to what you're going to accept. Yeah.
Read the comment he's just typed there, Matt.
What's he said? I can't
watch a ship disappear over the curve. Fine.
Yeah. Take another picture from side on showing this curve. I will accept that. There's tankers and cargo ships doing the same thing. We've got it goes over the curb. You can just about see the containers.
But what I think Ross is asking, he wants a video or a picture of the ship disappearing over the curve, but he wants another guy stood at 90 degrees filming it from the side. That just illustrates that he has no concept of how large the Earth is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like so many other flat earthers. But anyway, Ross is getting far too much attention for my liking.
Let's who else has got some other questions.
Sixth Son is asking again. Matt, Artemis lunar landing delayed to 2028. Lunar base is scrapped. NASA now to go straight to Mars, but keeping the Boeing lander module. Boeing is now the sole commercial partner. What are your thoughts?
What's that? Where's that? I missed that. Where is he? I can't
just
see
above
that.
Rob Parks. And underneath, in between the Heartless Knight and Rob Parks. Sixth Son.
Sixth Son.
He's tagged me, not you.
He's tagged you, is he? Oh, right, okay. So, sorry, can you read the question a bit slower? I didn't catch what you said.
Sorry. So, lunar landing is delayed to 2028. Lunar bases being scrapped. NASA now to go straight to Mars, but keeping the Boeing lander module. Boeing is now the sole commercial partner.
Well, if it's been delayed to 2026 and all the rest of it as well, that's news to me. I haven't looked at space news for 2 days, so unless that's brand new news, that's news to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Going straight to Mars. News to me. That would be pretty drastic if that's the case.
I've not seen that either. I've definitely not seen that. So, does anybody else have any questions for this lovely young man?
Chris Johnson's just asked one.
Fire away.
He says, what is your perfect Sunday? Oh, that's a good question, actually. I like that kind of question. My perfect Sunday is having a roast dinner with my kids and my girlfriend and just relaxing and chilling out and watching TV and doing that. Would be perfect Sunday for me. Yeah, a nice roast dinner. I like a roast dinner.
That sounds ideal, that does, because do you know what it is? And I think it's exactly the same for all of us. Life has become so busy. I think we're all grateful for those lazy Sunday afternoons where you can literally just sit there and do naff all and really enjoy yourself doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great. You need something to wind down with. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, does anyone else have anything? Let's have a scroll through and see what's what.
Brady Beaver said, a walk on the beach with some coffee and bitches. With some coffee and bitches. That's what Brady said.
Well, I've had coffee and biscuits. I've never had coffee and bitches.
Does his wife know he wants to walk on the beach with coffee and bitches? So on?
Yeah. That sounds like something for a younger man, Brainy Beaver.
Right, okay, I've got another one here. Chucky McDimmon, what's your favourite food and do you cook as well? Again, roast dinner. I cook most of... What's that? Oh yes, my girlfriend's chili. Yeah, she just shouted out. What's your favourite food? Yeah, roast dinner and my girlfriend's chili. And I would cook most of the roast dinners. Sometimes I cook during the week as well. But yeah, that's my favourite things to eat. Yeah.
Michael Spicer asks both of us, if you had the chance, would you go into space?
Absolutely, yes.
I wouldn't.
But do you know what? I wouldn't want to stay there.
No.
I wouldn't want to stay there very long, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to go to the moon and stay there for a long period of time. I'd love to maybe go into space and just hang around for a bit and I better come back to Earth because at the end of the day, my favourite planet is Earth.
Yeah, the reason I wouldn't is because I'm terrified to fly in, as I've said. Yeah, I've said it loads of times before. Whenever we go away on holiday, I get prescribed a certain medication that makes me not care if I'm on a plane or not.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just can't fly without it. So with me, I wouldn't, but it would be because I'd be afraid to, because it just seems a bit dangerous.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, well, it is dangerous. It is dangerous, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Brainy Beaver. If you have questions for Mr. Rob Simpson, I have a Q&A email with him working on it. Send any questions to me.
Rob Simmons. All right, really?
Or Rob Simon.
Rob Simons, yeah. Simon, sorry. Yeah, Simmons. Yeah.
That's the, it's Photoshop because it has to be guy, isn't it?
Yep, that's the one. Blue Marble guy, as they call him.
Yeah, that's right. It's one of the statements that flat earthers took completely out of context.
Yeah. There's one from Ivan James Hunt. Did you put that post up just for this live stream? Well, yes, not particularly for this live stream, Ivan, but I'm actually getting rid of my green screen because I don't use it very often. So I've got rid of it. I've taken it down. Well, I've not got rid of it, actually. I've just taken it down. I might use it again at some point. So I thought with live streams and things like that, I'll just have something a little bit more interesting in the background, a bit like Creaky's got. His is really good. It's never going to be as good as that, but sort of yes and no.
I've just been very lucky, and somebody sent me a green screen, and I did use it in a video last week.
Yeah.
But the lighting is quite tricky to get right, I found.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it can be a bit tricky.
It's not easy. Yeah, very fiddly. So I will use it, and I'm very grateful for it, but I can't see that it'll be something I use a lot, and I can understand why you would want to get rid of yours.
Yeah. No, I just want to have something interesting in the background, so I just stuck these things up, really.
Yeah, and I think unless you've got a particular reason, like Fight the Flat Earth always uses a green screen, but he likes to have his branding behind him. And when he's live, he likes to use the new studio background in vMix, so it makes sense then. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not something I can see.
T. Lucas has asked me, what was the first space launch you saw in person? Mine was STS-4. Oh, I'm glad you saw that, STS-4. I haven't actually seen a launch in person, and that's one of my ambitions. That's one of my on my bucket list. I'd love to see a launch in person. Absolutely love it. I don't mind what it is. I don't care. Just any launch will do.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those events that would be absolutely amazing to witness, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And sadly, in the UK, we don't get to witness launches here, I'm afraid, unfortunately. No. So it's a sad thing. But there you go.
Yeah,
and I can't afford to go to America just yet. But again, that's one of my ambitions, to go to Cape Canaveral and see a launch. So
my wife has been to Cape Canaveral.
Oh, is she? Oh,
yeah,
brilliant.
When she was, I think she was 16 or 17 years old. She was on holiday with her parents, and they went to Cape Canaveral as part of the holiday.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that's one of my ambitions. So perhaps with my parents' inheritance, maybe I could afford it, but the way they're going, they'll probably outlive me. So
yeah, yeah. And it's a bit rude if you say, "Mum, Dad, can you, I want to go to America." I beg your pardon.
But they're both in the 80s, and actually, my dad still goes to the gym once a week.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, my parents are both in the mid-70s, and they're actually living it up in Portugal at the minute. They're out in Portugal for 3 weeks. So,
nice.
What do you think of that, everybody? They've abandoned me, left me to my own devices for 3 weeks. The fact that I'm an actual grown-up and 47 years old is completely irrelevant. My mammy and daddy have abandoned me for 3 weeks.
Oh.
How could they?
Oh, poor Creaky.
I know, it's absolutely disgusting.
You've still got a lovely wife to look after you, though, Creaky.
Yeah, when I've not been upsetting her too much.
Oh, dear.
which I do try my best to. Radical has got to go. Okay, that's not a question, but thanks for letting us know, Radical. I just hope we don't need any. I hope we don't need any Raji support between now and the end of the live stream, which is coming up fairly soon.
Yeah, got a good question actually from Chris Plays Games. Can't put teeth back in. He said, "What's the best advice you can give somebody who are on the fence between flat Earth and globe?" Best advice I can give somebody like that is, I was saying earlier on, look at the bigger picture. Don't just listen to one person who's cherry picked some little bits of information out of something, whatever it might be. Is look at the bigger picture, look at everything. Ask questions, ask relevant questions, but ask the right questions. Okay, and don't just watch YouTube videos about flat Earth watch all sorts of videos and read all sorts of books and ask lots of different people different questions, and then you'll get the bigger picture, I think, or at least a wider picture. So that'd be my advice.
But that's another famous flat earther thing, isn't it? Is do research. But what they mean by that is watch people on YouTube that say the earth is flat. That's not research.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not research,
by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, if you end up believing the earth is flat, well, fine. You know, okay, that's okay. You believe the earth is flat, you believe the earth is flat.
Exactly.
But even then, even when you start believing the earth is flat, you know, still keep asking questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Something in the side chat, I'm addressing it because it is the best name I've seen in my side chat for a while. The question is Sensible not around? Well, no, he was on weeks ago. But the guy's name, I'm assuming it's a guy, his name is Helmet Cock. And because I'm a child, I found that worth reading out. So welcome, Helmet Cock. And if this video now gets demonetized, I will be holding you entirely responsible and pleading my case to YouTube.
Okay.
Ross is asking you a question, Matt.
Okay, what's he asking me?
Casual Spaceman. So your nick isn't a factual description of anything you've done yourself, just a fantasy belief you were fed from movies or TV.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I'm not even going to answer that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
not going to bother.
It's just a stupid question.
It's not even a question. It's just a statement. Really.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, he's not asking you anything. He's telling you his interpretation of what you believe in. Which Ross, that's not a question. Yeah, that's not a question.
Doc Scranton's asked me a question. So, what credentials do you have to do space commentary? I don't have any credentials. If you made qualifications, then no, I don't. Knowledge of the kind of circles that I move in, I've got some knowledge, if you call those credentials. But do I need credentials to live stream a launch? I don't think so. And I know lots of people are not qualified either. So do you need? You know, that's my question back to you. Do I need to be qualified, or do you need to have credentials to do it?
I don't think you do. You can be an expert in a particular field or knowledgeable about a particular field without having any formal qualifications. If you're the type of person who can absorb and learn from things you read, then
yeah, absolutely.
Once you do enough of that particular thing, it makes you. Ross is saying the question mark doesn't work on his laptop. That's why it didn't seem like a question. Okay, Ross, we'll give you a pass, but he still doesn't want to answer it. Right, Sixth Son is asking, struggled with character limit, was responding to a proposed bill, HR 5666, which if passed would result in the changes to NASA plans, as I mentioned in the last question. Only benefits being Boeing.
Yeah, now he comes to mention it. It has been proposed because of budgetary issues. So yeah, I personally don't think it's going to happen. It could happen. But I think it'd be a daft idea just to try and go straight to Mars, to be honest with you. If they do want to reduce budgets, then I think they ought to cut back on things like the new space telescope. Just scrap it, because that's been delayed and delayed and delayed. It's gone way over budget. It would be a sad thing, perhaps, but cut back on other things and go to the moon and then take it from there.
Yeah, so sort of prioritize where they need to direct the budget they've got available, isn't it? Use it to achieve whatever's the most beneficial to mankind.
Yeah, another thing which they might do as well is that they could scrap SLS, which is a space launch system, altogether. And I think he probably did suggest that Boeing would be the sole provider of launching astronauts to the moon and what have you as well. So it could be pretty much all commercial enterprise rather than just partially, as they're doing now at the moment. But in terms of actually going to Mars, I suspect what will actually happen with Mars, and I think this will be the case. If you've seen the docudrama simply called Mars, they actually involved lots of different nations and lots of different commercial companies. It involved literally China, Russia, United States, United Kingdom, a whole load of countries and commercial companies to actually get people to Mars. And I suspect that's probably what they would have to do eventually. That's my opinion.
Ross has just thanked me in the side chat, says I've just given him his qualifications. Cheers. You're more than welcome, Ross. If you want to be qualified in something that's completely fabricated and nonsensical, then I am more than happy to have assisted you.
So Brady Beaver said, I forgot SpaceX. Yeah, of course, SpaceX. Yeah, SpaceX will definitely be going to the moon anyway, regardless of whether NASA go or not.
Yeah.
And I think they probably would end up going to Mars as well. But personally, I don't think SpaceX will get to Mars on their own. I really don't.
No.
That's just my opinion. No, I don't think they will.
Due to lack of capability, or because I watched something today about I know it was about Tesla, but Tesla, SpaceX, it's all Elon Musk, isn't it? And at the moment, their stock is absolutely skyrocketing.
Yeah.
They've just become massively more valuable in the space of a few days. Their share price has gone from $260 up to just under $1,000 per share. That's a huge increase.
Yeah. But the thing is, what you got to realize is that to get to Mars, it's going to be incredibly expensive. Okay, getting to the moon, which they're planning on doing, is one thing, but getting to Mars is going to be incredible. So what they're going to need is investment and people that are prepared to invest in that. And I just don't think they're going to get enough investment to actually do that on their own. I really don't.
Yeah.
They would need investment from lots of different countries, perhaps, if they're going to do it just under their name.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me think that there will be several countries involved, and it will be a collaborative.
Yeah. I suppose that people's confidence in SpaceX would be nowhere near as high as it would be in NASA, for example, would it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, NASA will. They know full well that they couldn't even get to the moon with with the budgets they have.
Yeah.
Not on their own. That's why they've got commercial companies involved.
Yeah.
So you got various commercial companies that are building the Gateway, which is the space station that's going to be orbiting the moon, which is the platform they're going to use then to get to the lunar surface. That's all is being built by commercial companies, the different parts and different modules. It's just an indication that to go to Mars, you're going to need to use a lot of different countries, a lot of different commercial companies, and a collaborative thing. Because one company getting enough investment, I just don't believe it's going to be enough.
Yeah.
I'd love to be proved wrong. If SpaceX could prove me wrong, I'd love it. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I hope they get there soon. There you go.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for sticking around for this long. Yeah. Even you, Ross, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed something and possibly, maybe, just a smidgen, even learned something which may be of use to you in your future, although I seriously doubt it. That may be hoping for a bit too much. But thank you, Matt, for joining me. You've been an absolute legend, mate. It's been a very, very enjoyable and interesting conversation.
Likewise, yeah, it's been a blast. I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me on. Appreciate it.
And no problem at all. And I've put the links to the Casual Spaceman's channel down in the video description. Look at Cody saying goodbye. I haven't even implied I'm going yet, but I am now because you've upset me. That's bloody charming, that is. Do I give it away?
Yeah, hurry up. Go.
Maybe is that why my views drop off in the last 30 seconds of my videos, because I give too much of a clue as to when I'm finishing. But we are finishing now. Is there anything you'd like to plug before we go, Matt?
No, you've already done it, so that's good.
Yeah,
that's
there we are. Cool.
Yeah.
Give him a subscribe, guys. Let's get his numbers up. He's had a few extra today from being on Simon Dan's channel. Let's see if we can send him more. Yeah, go on.
Go to Simon. If you haven't seen it already, go to Simon Dan's latest video, the last Team 4 Tuesday, and I'm on that. So yeah, if you want to see something, go to that.
It was a really good video. Actually, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
That's it, everyone. We're out there. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.